testify on that hearing. Meanwhile, a student at Dartmouth is fighting for the right to carry a gun on campus. Taylor Woolridge going public with her story, saying she has to live in fear because of a man who's been stalking her for years.
After 18 months of not seeing this man, I got back to my parents' house at 1:30 a.m., flying in from Dartmouth. And at 8:30 a.m. the next morning, he was knocking on my front door. When he was arrested by the police, they found what they like to call a rape kit in the back of his car. It consisted of a sweatshirt, firewood, maps of the area, duct tape, a rope tied into a slip noose, hunting knives, and various other items.
All right, joining us now to talk about it, Geraldo Rivera.
Hi, Sharon.
Good to see you today. I mean, this is just such a difficult and disturbing case because obviously the campus says our policy is we don't have guns on campus. This young woman says, you know, this guy stalks me 24 hours a day. He's now in jail for violating his restraining order, I think for a third time. She may leave school because she says she can't feel safe without a gun.
He is a real threat. He is a real menace. He is, though, now he has been unable to make his bail, so he is in custody and he is facing an almost certain 4-year sentence upon conviction, and the evidence against him is overwhelming. The reason I state that is I think that the urgency, if her fear is this one person, I think that person who is across the country in San Diego, although he has proven to be mobile and has really cracked her, I sympathize 100% with this poor young lady. But I think the urgency of the matter is somewhat mitigated by the fact that he is in custody right now and he is facing a 4-year sentence. And I think everybody is now alert because she has had the courage to come public with this story. Everyone is now alert to this threat posed by this man against this woman in college in New Hampshire. Having said that, Jim Brady, the Reagan press secretary who was shot when the president was almost assassinated back in '83, died this week. He was the foremost advocate for some kind of gun regulation and gun control. They have fought against, his group has fought against the arming of students and churchgoers and similar kinds of situations for, I think, pretty good reason. I don't think that a student arming herself is going to be that much of a deterrent. The security of the people in Dartmouth or any other university or college is really in the hands of the professionals. That's why they have regulations against it. College students, as you know, so emotional. There's so much that goes on in the ebb and flow of those important 4 or 7 or 8 years of your life. They don't, and suicide's such a big deal, such an important factor, they don't want to have students packing on campus. I want to make sure I read a little bit of what they say. They say the safety and security of all Dartmouth students is a top priority. Any student who reports being stalked is provided with individualized attention and heightened protection. If there are improvements to our security services that we can make, we will. I would note that she says she has called for campus escorts numerous times, has been told, you're abusing the system, you can't keep calling us. She says, you know, she's told she can only call after 9 o'clock, but she said her stalker doesn't just stalk her after 9 o'clock at night. And she says he knows that she lives in a gun-free zone, and that makes her feel like she's a sitting duck if he should get away and be out of custody again. As I say, he's in custody now. Thankfully, he is where he belongs. What I would like to see is legislation that prevents stalkers like this man from getting guns, even though they have been convicted of stalking crimes and other domestic violence type offenses. They should all be put on a no-gun list, just like we have a no-fly list. How can a person like that still apply for and get? That's where I think the gun control should be. It should be against the stalker. Now, whether or not she should be packing, she can live off campus. New Hampshire is a pretty liberal state when it comes to gun rights.
Live free or die.
You just can't live free or die, but just don't bring the gun on campus. Can I just say one thing about Iraq? It's been burning me. The President of the United States has been asleep at the trigger here. When ISIS came into Iraq, they invaded northern Iraq. They took the city, the oil important city, Mosul. Why weren't we hitting them with the drones? Why aren't we hitting them with the drones? ISIS, these Sunni extremists who now are slaughtering Christians. What's next?
Yeah, they're making shocking and surprising progress. So those questions are only going to mount. Geraldo, good to see you.
You too, Sean.
All right, let's